Hi, I'm Tim Denman, Senior Editor of RIS News, and I'm here at the NRF Big Show, and I'm here with Ricardo Belmar, Director of Retail Solutions at Hughes.
Thanks, Tim. Great to be here.
Oh, thanks for coming. You know, everyone talks about, being Omni Channel ready. What does that mean, and what does it look like?
Well, I think there's a few different things that really means to everyone now, since it's been talked about so much. And being Omni Channel ready versus actually being Omni Channel, I think is different thing for different folks. To me, being ready, the retailers that we work with, has a lot to do with systems and equipment and things that happen behind the scenes that aren't necessarily customer-facing technologies. And I think those are probably the most important things retailers should be looking at, is how are they getting their back-end systems, their inventory management, things like network infrastructure to the store, how are all these things being combined to actually enable all of the nice shiny new customer-facing elements that they're looking for. And I think the key issue for that is that we know shoppers don't really understand channels. They don't really worry about what channel am I buying or shopping or interacting in. They just want to buy.
Sure.
And to make that seamless, retailers have a lot of work to do usually because of so many legacy systems and so many different things to connect together. I think that the biggest thing is to look at what are those key infrastructure components that need to be upgraded, need to be enhanced to support all of those customer-facing elements in the store.
When we talk about infrastructure, there's nothing more important than security. Now, everyone is talking about it, data breach after data breach. What can retailers do to secure their systems, to make sure that, they're not the next headline?
Right. Well, I think that one of the key things that, honestly, I think really most retailers have realized that you have to go well beyond what PCI tells you to do for security. That's really just a starting point. It's not an end-all and be-all function. And I think we've realized, most of these breaches we see, we're talking about retailers that were PCI compliant. So there's things that can be done in the network and in the systems and devices themselves that are on there to protect customer data, personal information. Things like encryption, payment transactions, things like tokenization at the terminal. Now, I think there may have been a little bit of a distraction with EMV. EMV has its place, but it's also not the final solution that really secures everything. And then I think there's a number of improvements retailers can do on the network side just to make sure they secure access to the devices on the network, secure the data that's running on the network. And also a key piece that maybe has been lacking a little bit is what I like to call the data analytics side to security. Everything that everyone installs and puts in for security generates a log and generates a record of what's happened in the system or on that network, but somebody needs to be looking at that. If you're not looking at it, then you don't really know what's been happening in that network or that device. And whether the retailer has somebody on their IT team that does it, or whether they outsource it to someone else, the key is that someone's got to be looking at that data to really evaluate, is everything okay? Is my data secure? And then take action if they see that there's something that's not right.
Now, as a company, Hughes is certainly forward-thinking. You guys talk a lot about the future of the store. What is the store going to look like in, say, 2 years?
So I think a couple of things that we're going to see that's going to, to me, be really exciting and change that shopping experience are things that are finally going to remove some of the frictional elements in the shopping experience. There have been a lot of technologies that we've all thought was going to be the big year of that technology. I think in the next 2 years, we're finally going to see some implementations with use cases that make sense. I think one example is going to be location tracking type devices, things like beacons, things of other technologies like that. I think everyone has to date been focused on how do I use that to push discounts and promotions to customers, but I believe what we'll really find with that is using the knowledge of where someone is in the store and what they're doing to make the store operations more efficient and to make the actual experience of buying something much easier and seamless and simpler for the customer by giving associates information about what's happening in the store. Other ways I think we'll see that will happen. I think we'll finally see RFID really take its place to help achieve that 100% inventory accuracy that everyone wants and needs to have, so that they know not just what merchandise is in the store, but where is it in the store, so you can avoid any out of stocks and avoid having to deal with unhappy customers that can't find what they want. I think a great example for that experience would be retailers doing a buy online pickup in store, where today most retailers have some sort of a designated pickup area. You come in, go there and pick it up, but you have to wait for someone to find the merchandise that's been picked from a shelf somewhere and packaged up for you. Wouldn't it be a better experience if the retailer knew that you walked into the store because you're a loyal customer, you have their mobile app possibly, they detect you came in, somebody gets it ready before you approach the counter, and they greet you and tell you, here's your package. I think we all know that the best desire for that experience is that the customer is so pleased and delighted with that, they stay in the store and they buy something else. So I think those kind of technologies we'll finally see come into place, so that the advantage brick and mortar retailers have with online in those stores is finally going to produce that experience that mirrors the online experience for the customer.
Well, the future is certainly bright, and I thank you for your time, Ricardo.
Thanks for having me, Tim. Appreciate it.